Well, good afternoon. You know what time it is? It's coffee time. That's right. We're out the mic stage. Sorry about the glitch, guys. Things acting up. So it's nice to see y'all here. Looking forward to the show. Very excited. Been waiting for it, but the computer decided to have a glitch. But anyway, we're here now. So today's topic it's about what about the reviews, and can't wait to hear insights from our guests today regarding the reviews. It's always an interesting topic, especially when authors are looking to hear feedback from readers out there, checking out their work. Um, I got a quote here from a David Cecil, and he says here that the critics' aim should be to interpret the work they are writing about and help readers appreciate it by defining and analyzing those qualities that make it precious, by indicating the angle of visions from which its beauties are visible. But many critics do not realize their function. They aim not to appreciate, but to judge. They seek first to draw lines about literature and then bully readers into accepting these laws. I found that very interesting, especially regards to our topic today. What about the reviews? So let's see if we can get our authors in here and go from there. Hey, Lorraine, you there?
I'm here. Hi, everyone. Hi, Michael. Hi, Ava. Hi, Jeff.
Yeah, sorry about that. My computer just went a little wacky there, but
Well, they do that sometimes.
let's see. I got Eva here. Eva, you there?
Yes, I'm here, Michael. Nice to talk to you.
Hey, same here, same here. Let me see if we can get Jeff in here as well. Let's see. Jeff, you there?
I'm here, and I'd like to just say something, address your audience, your listeners. Um, Lorraine has 796 hearts, and Eva Eva is well over 100, and
Oh,
and
God.
and, and I have 35. So let me just say something here.
Lorraine,
I
we had this discussion not long ago, Lorraine, regarding Jeff's, you know.
well, let me just say for your listeners that I love kittens and puppies.
You're about to make me spill our coffee, man. Thanks.
And I love alligators.
Oh, my word.
Jeez, thanks, Jeff. I appreciate that. Now I gotta wipe myself right here. Coffee all over me. Anyway. All right. So you guys know what we're talking about the reviews. We've been talking about last several weeks, right? Regarding reviews, how tough they can be, especially for us authors. I got a little blog here saying that why book reviews matter. Of course they matter. Book reviews matter very much. Here goes one point is reviews can provide an author with an idea of who is reading their book. What say you guys?
Well, I agree. I think they're very important. Just like I don't know about anybody else, but before I choose a book, whether it's on Amazon or wherever, I look at the reviews.
I do too.
Yeah, I do too. I think it's really important, and that's why I think it sort of sounded in your introduction, Michael, is that somebody was saying that the reviewer should sort of be supportive of what they're reviewing, or I can't remember the exact words, but I kind of disagree. I mean, I want to know if a book fell flat for somebody. I want to know, especially if I'm thinking of buying the book.
No,
Exactly.
you're right. Yes, and that's why I found it interesting because it looks like he wants to support the author. Yes, I don't have a problem with that, but it's fair to be honest regarding your work. That way they'll improve. What say you guys?
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
I agree. But the one thing that I'm going to tell you something. I know we all put a lot of work into, hard work into our work. If I don't like a book, I'm not going to put a negative review out there. I just won't, you know, I won't read it again, or probably won't read any of the other authors' work, but I will not leave a negative review.
Right.
If anything, I'll tell you what, if it's a friend of mine, I will message them privately and maybe give them some, good, good information or good construction. But I'm not going to post something publicly that's going to humiliate anybody that's worked so hard on a project.
I feel
And
exactly the
you make a
same
great
way.
point because it says here reviews can offer authors insights into what they did well in their book. But you create dialogue, as you say, with, amongst each other, to what worked and what didn't work, right?
Right.
I
So
think it's important to try to, you know, look at both sides. You know, if you found really good things in a book, I think you should say so. And I got to admit, I'm the same as far as negative remarks. If I have negative remarks, I tend to just not leave a review.
Yeah.
right. Says here another point says reviews can influence readers or buyers as to whether or not they should purchase a book. How important is that, guys?
Well,
Sure.
yeah, I think that's totally correct because, a review may state elements of something that it might be a turnoff for someone, like trigger points. I was going to buy a book the other day and there was a certain triggers that didn't sit well with me. So I passed it by. So, it depends on what it says in the review.
What say you, Eva?
Well, to be honest with you, I would, if I'm looking for a book to purchase and I go and look at the reviews that people have left, I like reviews that are brief and say, really love this book, can't wait to read the next one. 5 stars. That is what I like. What I don't like to see is people who review and they're giving you a synopsis of the story, really, and you think, oh, right, that's great. Well, I might as well not bother reading about it now because you just bloody
Yeah,
told me all about it.
yeah,
Exactly. It's a
yeah.
big spoiler. Exactly.
Yeah, you just give away the story, so why
Yep.
bother?
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like some reviewers, uh, they're sort of like thinking of it as a book report, like in high
Yes.
school, you
Right.
know.
Right.
And yeah, I agree. I tend to, if they're getting into the details of the book, I tend to not read the rest because,
Exactly.
It's interesting because it says here reviews affect how people find or see an author's books, especially like algorithms. You know what I mean? What say you guys?
I'm not sure
Are there?
what was the question
It
again?
says here it says reviews affect how people find or see an author's books. While no one can actually claim how algorithms work, this is pretty much how it works, I guess, on Amazon, depending on the reviews and whatnot. It's the same thing, right? Same process. What say you guys?
Yeah, I think the algorithms are at play as well as they are for any other product that's on,
Mhm.
Amazon or another site.
Yeah, I believe they look at the number of reviews and then they'll look at, the number of stars. But
Right.
I know if you're not getting a lot of reviews, they tend to sort of not notice you as much.
They hide your book is what they do.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
do.
Now, there's a point here that says that reviews can make an author feel good. Should that be the whole thing about reviews? Should it just make an author feel good, or what?
Makes me feel good.
Makes me feel
Yeah,
good.
yeah, absolutely. It makes you feel
Break out the
good.
champagne.
uh, Another one that says here, it says reviews help you determine the book's value beyond the blurb. What say you guys?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the blurb is meant to build up the book, and if the reviews back that up, then that's fantastic. But the reviews I take more seriously in terms of judging whether or not I want to buy the book.
Right. And somebody might, someone might mention in a review something that isn't in the, the blurb or the synopsis. And it might say something like, I really liked, how the story ended, was a happy ending, or I liked the way that this couple got together. So you might pick up something from the review that was not in the blurb.
Yeah,
What say you, Eva?
Well, put it this way: if it was mentioned in a review that the book had a happy ending, I wouldn't feel inclined to read it. I want the ending to be a surprise.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
Interesting, interesting. All right. Another one that says here, review allow the readers to let their voices be heard. What say you guys?
yeah.
Uh, yeah, I don't see anything wrong with the reader's voice to be heard, but man, sometimes they can get real brutal, especially those 1 star type deal. You ever had that?
Yeah.
I've had it. That
Um,
hurts.
yeah, I had a 1 or 2 star review on my first book, and all the other reviews were really good, and so it made me kind of wonder about the reviewer. They seem to have some anger issues that I
Oh,
whatever happened in their life, I'm not really responsible for it.
Yeah. I
So
totally
did
agree
people bring
with
back
that, Jeff.
flashbacks? Yeah.
I
Bring back
totally agree with
flashbacks. So
that.
what you do, Jeff?
Can
What you write about? Why you get the reader all upset?
I had one, actually it was 1 star, and it turned out that the reviewer had me confused with another author named Jeff Otis.
oh,
And yeah, and there
oh,
was something the other
oh,
author was doing that they really didn't like. So I actually contacted Amazon and explained the situation to them. And
good,
thankfully, they removed that review.
good. That was good. That was a
Uh,
good decision.
Yeah.
yeah,
can I just?
my first book had they gave it a 3 star. Um, and I knew who the reviewer was. I got made contact with him, and he explained to me, and he made a lot of sense. I was like, you're right, you're right. But at first, when I saw it first, I was a little upset. I'm
Of
gonna tell him
course,
about this
of
Yeah.
review, but all
course.
that changed. Yeah, all that
Yeah.
changed. He did.
Go ahead, Mike.
No, no, go ahead, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, yeah, I think probably everyone kind of feels a gut punch, when somebody doesn't love what they've done. Um, but usually, like I used to be an oil painter, and if somebody critiqued a painting and said, "Well, I just don't like this part," it'd be a bit of a gut punch. But then I always learned from it, and I could
Yes,
improve on it. And,
yes.
and to
You
be
know what?
honest with you, yeah, go ahead.
You know what? And you're right. But it wasn't the story that he didn't like. It was just other things that he saw that should have been corrected, and it wasn't. But the story itself, he loved it. But it was everything else that bothered him.
Oh yeah, that happened to me in my first publication, and I just didn't do my due diligence. I thought I had, but it had to do, just as you were saying, Michael. There was an instance where 2 sentences were repeated, and then there was an instance where I referred to something with a word that was spelled correctly, so the spell check never caught it. but it was wrong. So I actually pulled the book and republished it.
Okay.
Because I just it eats me alive thinking that there's these errors and something.
Uh,
What say you,
can
Eva?
I just can I just say, going back to 1-star reviews, um,
Sure.
be, the first two parts of my trilogy are called The Hurt and the Healing. Well,
Right.
those were published several years before with different titles and different book covers and everything, and then I revamped it. So it was when they were published in their original form, I was getting 5-star review after 5-star review after 5-star review, heading towards 100. I know that's not a lot by some people's standards, but it was a lot for me, and I was thrilled. And then I got one-star review, and I thought, what is going on here? And I went and read what this lady had put, and she, she was basically giving me a 1-star review because of the sexually explicit chapters.
Oh boy.
But yet, it stated quite clearly on the front cover, strictly over 18s, sexually explicit content.
Mm.
So,
That's what I was going to ask. So you gave them a heads up. You give the readers a heads up.
Exactly.
so she picked the book up, read it, and then decided to grumble and give me 1 star because it was sexually explicit. I'm like,
Mm.
oh my God, what is the matter with people?
Exactly. Yeah, they don't care. They don't take time to read the print, the fine print sometimes.
So is it fair to
Yeah.
say that the author should label or place it in the right section or whatnot to let the readers know, hey, this is what you're going to expect? Should they really go into detail regarding what to be expected on these books?
I
Well,
think
as I
a lot
say,
of
it was stated on the front cover. You know, what more can I say?
Got to make it more clear than that, right? Right.
yeah, or you could put
Exactly.
it in the blurb.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been guilty though of when buying a book, not reading it completely. And I bought a book. They said in big letters on the front, Michael Crichton. And so I thought, oh, I
Oh,
love Michael Crichton.
Oh,
yes.
So I
yeah.
bought the book, and then I realized in small letters down at the bottom it said by somebody else, and so
Oh,
Oh,
it was like, oh, very disappointing.
That's
And it
deceiving.
had it had a title. It said the title, then Michael Crichton, and then in real small letters the true author.
so
Wow.
it could be a bit
Very
misleading when
deceiving.
they do that, right, guys?
Oh, very.
yeah. Probably deliberately misleading to draw people in to think
Yeah,
That's what I
exactly
was.
what
it was
this
That's what
done
I was
is.
thinking.
purposely. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Wow, interesting. It says reviews can be considered a thank you note to the writer or author. What say you guys?
Yes, I think so.
No,
Yeah,
I would say so.
yeah.
How about you,
I,
Jeff?
yeah, sometimes I'll see a review for my books, and the person really enjoyed it, and they will say something, like, "Thank you," for putting out this very entertaining book, and I love it. Yeah.
No, I do
Got it,
too.
Yeah.
got it. You see, Jeff,
Who
I think
wouldn't?
you might just got another heart. I'm not sure for saying the right thing. Might want to check that.
I didn't get another one. What?
I've just sent someone.
I
Oh.
I like alligators too.
Oh yeah.
So,
I have three of them in my office, so
Uh,
You're the man an alligator. You know what I mean? Give them some love.
Well, they're just
Uh,
the skeleton. It's just the head. My husband is a
Uh,
hunter, and he put them in on my bookshelf. So I try not to look at them when I go in there, but they're there looking at me.
Oh, golly.
all right. So next thing it says why readers don't leave reviews, and one
Mm.
point says they don't know how to write a review. What say you guys?
Yep, I agree. I think they feel like you said it's got to be a book report. I don't think they realize that it's just got to be like Ava said, a short little note and then the 5 star and say what they liked about it. They don't have to write a thesis.
Yeah, and it's funny how
Mm.
some people do write
Oh
a
God,
thesis,
they
and
do.
it displays a very broad knowledge of the
Oh,
genre and so on. But it's like this is in the wrong place, you know.
I
I mean,
know.
it's you know,
Mm.
and then there's some people that write reviews that I think they fire them off real fast because there'll be misspelled words and stuff. But
Oh
I,
yeah.
I I don't mind, if it's a good
Hopefully you don't catch
review.
them in the act. You know what I mean? That's probably what it was.
Yeah.
Anyway, it says here they falsely believe if they didn't actually buy the book, they can't leave a review.
I've heard that too, but I've had people leave reviews that didn't buy the book because in one case I actually they were a friend of ours, and so I gave them the book. So they didn't buy it, but they left a review. So I don't know.
Yeah, especially if
Well,
you have a beta reader, they've already had your manuscript and, then they don't buy it because they've already read the story and they leave reviews.
Yeah,
well, I have had, because last year and the year before, I started doing book fairs. So you're selling books at these book fairs, but they're not a verified purchase from Amazon.
Right,
right, right.
So,
right.
but one or two have successfully managed to leave a review. If they take, um, say, a picture on the phone of the book, probably even a selfie holding the book, and you can
Yeah,
post that picture with your review, and Amazon then sort of think, oh, well, she's holding a picture of the book, so she must have purchased it somewhere.
yeah,
Right.
yeah. That's a good
And,
point. I think they're
and they've
pretty good about
accepted
that.
it. Mm.
That is good, Ava. That's a good point. Yes.
Or they can always go if they want, they can go to Goodreads, I think, and leave a
Right.
review.
Goodreads. Exactly. They're not as stringent as Amazon. Correct.
No,
That's
no,
true. But also, Michael, I find that some people just can't be bothered to leave a
Right.
review.
Right.
I've
Right.
had I've had people messaging me when they've been reading my book and say, "Oh my word, Eva, I am absolutely loving this. I'm only a third of the way in, thoroughly enjoying it, and can't wait to see what's going to happen." And you say, "Brilliant! Can you do me a favour once you've finished the book? If you've
yeah,
enjoyed it, will you leave a review?" And they promise faithfully to leave a review, and then they don't bother.
They don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's typical.
yeah.
I'm almost afraid to ask anybody anymore to leave a review. It's just like, what's going on, man? I don't understand. I haven't had a review. I think in about 2 years was the last time anybody left a review. Crazy.
Really?
Yeah, leave something. You know what I mean? A little peanut.
Wow.
Yeah, I'll be happy. All right. It says a big one here. It says they don't want to hurt an author's feelings.
Well,
Ouch.
that would be me.
Yeah.
Like I
Um,
said, if I don't like it, if there's something, I'm not posting anything negative. No.
likewise.
Nope.
Yeah, you know how hard writing is.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
so, this might be a person just starting out,
Right.
and you really don't want to shoot them down.
No, no.
Yeah, it's yeah, I wouldn't want to do that because I myself we all know how tough it is, and yeah, I wouldn't want to discourage them in any way by leaving
No,
a
never.
terrible review. No way. I just wouldn't
Never.
say anything at all. All right. Let's see. Another one says here they think that if they don't leave a review right away, they can never leave one.
Oh, that's a good one. I never thought about that.
What do
I
you
had
think
no
about
idea.
that?
Mm.
Yeah,
That
I
is
don't know.
interesting. That is interesting. They think that if they don't leave a review right away, they can never leave one.
So you mean like some readers can think that maybe there's a timestamp, with the Amazon or whatever site?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I guess that
Interesting.
makes sense. Yeah.
Mm.
What say you, Eva?
Well, I can't imagine why people would think that. Um, they've bought the book and it says, clearly states, um, you know, please leave a review. It even says that on customer reviews. And so why would they think that there's a time limit on it?
I don't think there is, but I know in my case, if I wait too long after reading a book, I can't quite remember as much about it.
Yeah, same here. I forget about it.
Yeah,
All right. We all know that there are seven key elements to a story, right? Plot, narrator, point of view, characters, conflict, setting, and theme. Now, if a book has none or just one or two or whatever of those key elements, would that give it a bad review? Let's say do that.
It might.
hmm
I think, well, because yeah, the rest it's missing. It's missing the pieces. So that might garnish, yeah, a negative review.
So should it have all seven elements or just two,
Well, I think
three will
a
suffice?
majority at least. I mean, if you only have one or two, I mean, you've got a big void in your story.
Yeah, that's
yeah,
true.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
I mean, I don't know. Do all books need to have a narrator?
I don't think so. It depends on which, if you write it in first person, second person, omniscient, third person, whatever.
What about you, Jeff? What say you?
Um, well, if it depends on what the book is. I mean, if it's a book of poetry, obviously that you don't need a
Right,
narrator,
right.
but I mean, I remember reading a really good book by a famous paleontologist, and the narrator is a dinosaur, and
Oh,
it's done, not in a comical way. It's really genuinely, he's writing as much as he can what the dinosaur would be feeling, what's its instincts telling it, and it's really a good book. But I guess in that case,
good.
you still would say you have a narrator.
Yeah, wait till we get Dale back here. Yeah, he'll have a thing or two to
Where's
say about
Dale?
this. He's on vacation or something like
Oh,
that.
good for
Yeah,
him. Good for him.
yeah, I can hear him now. Oh my goodness. All right. Well, now should all books in regards to review, should there be a point of view in a story? Would
Hmm.
that matter?
It makes it, well, it hmm. Well, if it's third person, I mean, it's I guess you can still focus on what the the protagonist is thinking and all of that. So I guess it's, in a sense, it's an indirect point of view. But sometimes I think if an author moves around too much in the point of view,
Hmm.
you have to be real careful, because you need to have a way for the reader to know that suddenly you've changed the point of view. So like if you're going back in time, then okay, this is a different character. Is
Right.
happening, but you gotta make it a comfortable transition for the reader, and you don't want to overwhelm them or surprise them where suddenly they have to figure out, oh, wait a minute, I thought so and so was speaking,
Yes.
and it's really this person. That I don't think is
Yeah,
good.
and I've encountered that in a book, and I'm like, okay, I've totally lost, but the concept here. I lost my train of thought. So yeah, no head hopping for sure, Jeff.
Yeah.
What say you, Eva?
Well, my trilogy was written in first person POV,
My
and
favorite.
and and then in the second book, there's somebody else, a secondary character, who also he was telling it from his point of view, and but not so much when I'm writing short stories. When I'm writing short stories, I'm writing third person.
I really enjoy first person,
I do too.
because well, my first book was let's see, third person, but the second book, A Giant Tale, I find that first person allows me to really reveal the character more, because I can write their thoughts, and I can, and their uh, you become very sympathetic towards the character, but yet the
That's what
character
I
is,
like. Yes,
yeah, and but the character is constantly misinterpreting things and getting themselves into a situation that hopefully makes the reader laugh. But I think a lot of the laughter comes from knowing the character and having built up this knowledge of who they are as a person and what their foibles are. And part of it, I think, comes through in point of view.
Yeah, that's my
yes,
favorite.
I agree. I totally agree, Jeff. I think it's good writing in first person POV. You get to explain how you're feeling, how the main character is feeling, because she's telling it from her point of view. Whereas when you write in third person, how do we know what the main character is thinking?
Exactly.
Right.
How
Exactly.
do we actually know?
Good point. Yes. Okay,
Mhm.
so out of these three key elements, plot, characters, or theme, which was most important out of those three for a book to be a
I'd probably say plot.
Yeah, plot and characters.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Theme, no.
so plot and character. If which one would throw you off in regards to making a good review, the characters or the plot?
I'd say the plot.
Or plot, definitely.
Yeah. If, yeah, plot is awfully important. Although, if the characters are two dimensional, it'll take away from the plot. You know,
Yes, true.
That's true. That's true.
but there are genres, if you think about it, that are almost all plot. For example, nonfiction. Nonfiction is, if you're
Nonfiction. Hmm.
reading about the Civil War, it's kind of like characters come in and out, but it's the action, the plot,
Right.
where it's going that is riveting. So I don't know. I think in fiction, though, yeah, plot probably most important, but really important is to have good characters that
Yeah,
Oh,
definitely.
yeah, most definitely.
I
All
like
right.
I like to get stuck into a book where I start to I start to empathise with the characters, and I end up loving the characters of some novels that I've read. I think, oh my word, these characters are just amazing. Is there going
mm,
to be a follow up book to this? And then I'm right disappointed to find out no, there isn't.
Oh, I know.
yeah.
I know. I've been there. Yep.
It's
So,
funny. It's funny what people like in characters too. Like I'm still editing a book uh, where the beta readers have said the most fascinating character in the book is the antagonist, not the
Oh,
protagonist. And the antagonist is very bad. I mean, he's a really bad
a bad
character.
boy.
He's a bad boy, but he's kind of gets really gets your attention, and so the readers are saying that he's the most powerful part of the book.
There you go.
Mm.
all right. So, should in order to get a good review, should there be a conflict in the story?
Well, if it's,
Uh,
I think so. Yeah, if it's
I
fiction,
think so too. Let's
Yeah,
face it,
definitely.
most people love a good argument, so you've got to have a little
They
bit of
do.
conflict there.
yeah. I think my feeling is that in fiction, what draws people in is things that ultimately teach them about life. Like, what do you do if you have this kind of conflict? You know, how was it resolved in this book? Was it resolved in a way they'd never thought of? And, you know, why do certain people do what they do? You know, when you see it in a well written fiction book,
Hmm.
you really I mean, it's why people sit there and people watch, you know, in a
Right.
mall. You know, it's
Right.
like you're constantly trying to learn about how to navigate social waters, you know.
Yes.
Interesting. Okay, and one more thing. Now, which one of these are most important out of the two? Setting or theme?
I'd say theme.
Scenes, yeah.
Did you say
What say you,
theme
Abe?
or scenes,
Theme,
Michael?
theme,
Oh,
theme.
theme. Yeah,
Theme.
theme.
Yeah,
Theme.
theme.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's that Jersey accent, I guess. I don't know.
Because the setting can change in a story many times, but theme, you got to have a good theme going on.
Well, and a scene involves so much more. I mean, there's tension, there's conflict, there's humor, there's people you really like, there's people you don't like. Whereas a setting is far more removed, almost abstract when compared with what can
Right.
go on in the scene.
What say you,
Although,
Abe?
yeah, the setting is very important too. It kind of anchors things.
Yeah, and I think it makes the reader feel like they're there. They're right there, even in the
Right,
mountains or at the lake, so they can
right,
visual. It's a visual. It's a visual tool.
right.
Yes, that's
Yeah,
true.
yeah, and I try and I wish I was better at this, but if I'm at the lake, say, I'll say, what you see, what the character sees, and then what they're hearing. There might be a
Right.
rustle in the leaves of the trees behind them, and what does it smell like?
That's
There's
important.
the smell of pine needles,
I
maybe,
love
or
it.
and the more of that I think you put in there, the more you bring your reader into the scene.
You do. Yeah, I have a sign in my office that says "Write with all the senses"
There you go.
Yeah,
to
yeah,
Okay.
remind me. To remind me.
All
yeah.
right. Well, um, you and Lorraine and Ava, you guys that have new books out there. How's the reviews going on that? What's the word?
Well, with me, I think I've only gotten 5, but so far they've been great. The last one was by a gentleman who I don't even know. He found me on X, and he gave me a glowing review. I mean, it was fabulous. I mean, I did break out the champagne.
I
Nice.
don't blame you, Lorraine.
While we're on it, what's the title of the book again for our audience?
It's called Bloodlines and Betrayals. It's a mafia romance.
Okay, cool. Ava, what about your story, your book?
Well, mine doesn't officially release until the 25th of April.
Gotcha.
So it's just on pre-order at the minute.
Gotcha. Now I've seen a lot of videos and whatnot, and they look pretty cool. You ever heard any feedback on that?
Oh, plenty of feedback on the video, yeah.
Nice. Nice. Good word. They like the cover. Anything about the cover?
Um, I've not heard any comments about the cover as yet.
Gotcha.
I
Lorraine?
liked it.
Yeah.
I
It
like
has a
yours
sense
as
of
well.
mystery. Yeah, it has a sense of mystery. And the stories that she's got, I've read most of them. They're phenomenal. So, yeah, it has an air of mystery about it. So, I do like the cover.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I like your cover as well, Lorraine.
Oh, thank you. Let's sit here all night and compliment each other.
Yes.
I'll compliment my own cover, I guess. I
Well, I was
really
about to
like
ask
the
you, Jeff,
cover.
what's been the reviews like on your book?
Uh, Mine, it hasn't been out very long. I've gotten more reviews from people say that are like friends of a friend that my wife knows, or but it does have a few reviews for A Giant Tale out on Amazon, and they're so far really good. I haven't looked in the last couple weeks, to be honest, but
So,
uh,
Jeff, can I just say, I don't know your second name, and do you write
oh,
under the name Jeff?
I write under the name Jeff Otis,
Okay.
Jeff
Otis.
Otis. Okay, and what's the title of your book?
Well, the really humorous one is called A Giant Tale,
Right?
Tale. And if you
I'll
look at the
look out for
cover,
it.
yeah, if you look at the cover, um, it's humorous and daunting at the same time. There's this sophomore in high school, and he's looking up at this 14-foot giant who you really don't know if that giant's going to be a gentle giant or if, he's not.
Yeah,
But you show this innocent kid just with his back to you, just with his head looking way up at this giant. And I really like it because it has a humorous component to the cover. And that's the way the book is. It's very, very funny.
I'll
We all
look
need
out for
humor
that,
these
Jeff.
days.
Oh, thank you.
I'll check it
Oh,
out as well.
Yes, me too.
well, give me the name of your books. I've been meaning to ask you, like Lorraine, what is
It's Bloodlines and Betrayals.
Bloodlines and Betrayals? Okay. And Eva?
Mine is a collection of short stories, Jeff. There's a mix in there of paranormal, there's witches, there's ghosts, there's a couple of
Love it.
sci-fi stories, and it's called A Little More of Me.
Ooh, that can have interesting implication.
You
I
see,
mean,
guys, with that compliment, y'all send some hearts his way. Send him some hearts.
I'll,
Oh,
I'll
Jeff,
check.
you really are amazing.
I'll check them out. Yeah.
Thank
Send
you.
some hearts. You're
What?
gonna get some hearts very shortly. I see it coming. It's coming. Well, it's interesting. Anything else regarding the topic, guys, that you want to bring up?
Well, yeah, I was going to say, there's do's and don'ts. There's what they call I shouldn't say naughty. I'm not even going to go there. Things that you shouldn't do and you should do. One of the things I know Amazon has their watchdogs. I know, and I'm going to say this about, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, there was a Facebook group. And I don't know if anybody remembers this. And it was a review group. And it was, you would post your book and somebody from the group would pick it up and do a review. Well, Amazon caught on to this group, and most of the people in this group, all their reviews were gone. They were swiped clean.
Oh, wow.
So I think, yeah, that's one of, and I think Amazon also watches for swap reviews, because I know they'll delete those as well. I know someone is actually, a friend of mine is banned from posting reviews on
Oh,
Amazon.
wow.
Wow.
Yeah,
And it's called a slop review?
swap.
What is that?
Like I review your book, you review mine.
Oh,
Oh,
swap.
Mhm.
swap.
Okay.
Okay. I
Okay.
thought it was slop. What?
I thought, yeah, I thought it was SLOP. And I was thinking,
That's what.
come on, clean up your writing, you know?
I'm getting the giggles. But then there's also the editorial reviews, which I pay for. Reader's Favorite has one where you can pay and you get. I don't know. Have you all heard of Reader's Favorite? They have different services.
No, I've
No.
not.
And they will you can do a free review, but it will take anywhere from 6 weeks. Or you can do an express review where you pay $49 and you get it in 2 weeks. And then you can post that on your Amazon page under editorial reviews. And so that's allowed. And I just recently did that. So
But I was going to ask
Oh,
you that regarding that. Should someone pay for a review?
if you're desperate, well, I think if you have a new release coming out, I think you need a boost. I did.
yeah, I've paid for reviews, but
Mhm.
it's not like the understanding is that it'll be an honest review. Not, I'm not
Yeah.
paying for
Right,
a fabulous review.
right, right.
It's whatever the reviewer really thinks.
So you don't think that by paying someone, it'll force them or you know convince them I need to write something good just because I was paid for it. Would it be fair?
I
Yeah, I imagine
don't
there's
know.
that worry.
I know with Reader's Favorite, they state that they will not do anything below a 4 star. But here's the but. I think there's a disclaimer in there that if somebody does, I'm also a reviewer for Reader's Favorite. But if they do have a book that is just let's just say it's unreadable or unreviewable, they will contact the author and refund your money. So I
That's
guess,
fair.
yeah, I
Yeah,
guess
yeah,
in ways there, it is honest.
yeah. That's fair. As long as there's a disclaimer or something, to say,
Right,
hey, if you
right.
got a piece of crap, you know what I mean. This is what we're gonna
You
do.
gotta,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Okay. Jeff, you got anything?
Um, well, I remember the review I paid for uh, cost a lot more than $49. So
Wow.
I'm kind of thinking, heck, I need to check out this Reader's
Reader's
Favorite.
Favorite. Yes, for
Yeah.
sure.
Jeez.
Yeah. And Eva, what about our page? We have a little thing going on our page where if your book needs a review, you can post it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, shout it out. What
Well,
the
it's
audience
it's
gonna know?
it's it's a Facebook page. It's called Ava and I are the admins. It's called Read, Write, Repeat. And there's a little feature up there. We have it pinned, and it says if it's not. And I state clearly this is not a swap situation that or slop that that if you need a review, please pick a book that you're generally interested in. So you're going to choose and then leave a review. So people have been posting their books, and I'm going to pick one up that kind of sounds interesting, and I'm going to leave a review. So if you're interested, head over to Read, Write, Repeat on Facebook and join us.
Nice,
Yeah, too right.
nice. All right.
I'll
Okay.
invite I'll invite you, Jeff.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Keep
Yeah.
the blood
Are you a
flowing over
member,
there. We try
Michael?
to. We tried
Huh?
to. We
Are
tried to
you a
keep it
member,
You gonna
Michael?
invite me? Me? Sweet me? Are you gonna invite me? You know, I never go to these things. I'm too busy doing whatever I'm doing. I don't know why. Hey
Yeah,
guys, now that book, that I've been writing, it looks like it's just about done.
Oh, Michael, that's awesome.
Oh,
Yay.
brilliant news.
Yeah, it's only 2.5 years, that's all. But yeah, so
Oh,
it's
I'm
well.
out there.
years. Well, congratulations.
You know what's
Yes,
funny?
congratulations,
Funny
yeah,
Michael.
because
that's
I'm
it's
averaging
wonderful.
about 700 words per day.
Oh, that's great.
Something I haven't done in forever.
Well,
So everything's
let
coming
us
out clear.
know. Let
Yeah,
us
it's
know
coming
when
out
it's
so
out.
clear
Let
now.
us know.
That's weird.
Hey, I
Yeah.
got a quick question. Congratulations, Michael. That's
Thank you.
fantastic.
Thank you.
I'm wondering what I'm just wondering how people feel about a really thick book versus a thinner book. I mean, what is your
Oh,
preference?
So, would you think
me,
that'll affect the review?
No, no, I'm just now off topic completely. I'm
Ah,
just thinking I like books I can read in a couple days,
me too.
whereas some people seem to like, Tolstoy type
Oh,
books.
no, I don't want to fall asleep. I don't want
Well,
to.
if it's a thick book, the story has got to be pretty consistent and drawing me in throughout.
right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Um, I don't want to get bored at the halfway mark and think,
No,
no, I'm not
no,
finishing this.
I
no.
You
think
There's
know,
that
a,
it's sad because these
If they
thick
keep
books.
the momentum going, that's fine.
There hasn't
yeah.
been one thick book that I have been able to complete ever because
yeah, that's
I
the
get that
problem.
way and I'm
I one of my favorite books is The Lord of the Rings, and I
Oh,
think
yeah.
it
Yes.
was really smart to actually break it up into three books.
Yes, it was.
So I was willing to buy the first book,
Right.
and by the time I got to the end of it, it was like, oh, I couldn't wait to get to the
I
second.
know. I know.
But if it had been a 1,000 page
oh,
book
forget
in
it.
the
Yeah.
beginning, I might have just not read it.
Now, if it was the Bible, yeah, I'll finish reading that.
Yeah.
It's not going to be within a day or so, but yeah, I'll finish that because that's very
Mhm.
Right.
interesting. But
I,
anything
I,
else, forget about it. Yeah, I'm not going
yeah, I
to.
prefer thin because I have a short attention span. So, yeah,
Yeah,
short stories are my favorite.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Bernie will start running around by the 300th page, and then I'm ready to forget about it. Come on, boy.
Right.
Yeah, let's go. Well, it's been an interesting show, guys. You guys have been awesome. Great topic, I think, regarding
Thank
reviews because we
you.
all look
Yeah,
forward.
very good topic.
Yes.
Thank you,
And
Mike.
it's been a while since we last spoke. It's been since before the Easter
This is
break.
a good team. Right. I love being with this team. I think we make a good panel.
You guys are great, but Jeff, we got to help out Jeff with the hard thing. You know what I mean?
We do. We
Oh,
do.
yes, we do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
When they'll get back, we'll see if maybe you can help them out. You know what I mean? Something.
yeah. I don't know.
You don't know.
I got to work on. Maybe it's just my voice. It's a little. It's a little raspy.
You're gonna try to mask it.
I don't know.
Jeff, I've just sent you a load of hearts.
Oh, I'll follow suit.
Oh, Jeff, there you go, Jeff. There you
Oh
go.
wow, you guys are
Wow.
great.
There's mine. There you go, Jeff.
You're
Hey.
wonderful. You're wonderful.
Well, I
Thank
hope that made your day, Jeff.
Mike. You did. Thank you.
All right. Well,
Thanks,
you guys have been
everybody. Thank
great.
you, Michael. Thanks, everyone. It's been a great show.
Yes,
Everybody
it
stay
has.
well.
It's been really interesting. Thank
Until next
you.
time.
Thanks, guys. I really enjoyed having y'all here. And
Thank you, Michael.
all
Thank
right.
you, Mikey.
Ciao.
Bye.
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 Great show. This guy's great. Jeff Otis, Eva Bielby, all the way from the UK, and Lorraine Carey from Tampa. The guys are great. I love when they join me and talk about some topics there. They're pretty cool. Anyway, it's been a while. It's been since before the Easter break that I've been back here on the show. It's exciting. It's always exciting. Always enjoy it. They make me laugh. Great topics. Great group. Anyway, next week I got a show next week, next Tuesday. So I look forward to that, and look forward to having you guys, your audience, out there listening to join me as well. And if you got a question or two, please join me at polyboyk9.podbean.com. You can join in to the studio and maybe leave a text message or whatnot, or maybe come live. Yeah, I want to do that. I look forward to that. So yeah. Anyway, again, it's been a great show, and I want to thank everyone for joining and for listening. And you know what I say? Don't forget your coffee. Have a great day.